So many wonderful things come in three. The three-minute egg, the three-ring circus, the original Star Wars trilogy, so why not our weekends? Studies and surveys have proven that the average worker doesn't accomplish much, if anything, on Fridays. Well, that is with the exception of myself, Mr. Thomas. Workers are burned out from the long week and are anxiously awaiting that 5 o'clock buzzer that indicates sweet freedom. This behavior dates back to the Stone Ages, as we've seen displayed by Mr. Fred Flintstone. My point is this: it would be in the best interest of schools, businesses, and ourselves if every weekend was a 3-day weekend. 3-day weekends are essential in order for us to accomplish all that we need to accomplish in regards to the 3 R's: our responsibilities, recreation, and recuperation. If you're anything like me, you procrastinate on as much as possible throughout the week and try to get all of your to-dos done in your 2-day weekend. Having a 3-day weekend would allow us to dedicate one whole day to our responsibilities, such as our homework, our housework, our errands, or battling White Walkers with Jon Snow. Speaking of Game of Thrones, 3-day weekends would also allow us ample time to get caught up on our educational programming. There's nothing more frustrating than talking with your friends about how horrible Ramsay is and how you just can't wait till they kill him off, only to find out that Sansa fed him to his own dogs last season. I mean, really. Aside from having a day to dedicate to your responsibilities, you can have an ample time to dedicate for play as well. Said best by Ferris Bueller, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around every once in a while, you can miss it. Truer words have never been spoken. Which brings up my next point, recreation. If weekends were 3 days versus 2, you could spend entire days with family and friends watching baseball games at Wrigley Field, touring the Art Institute of Chicago, hanging out at Glencoe Beach, or find yourself singing Twist and Shout in the middle of a parade in downtown Chicago, as demonstrated by Ferris himself. Also, 3-day weekends would allow for travel. I realize that we all love Altus, but occasionally we need to venture outside the city limits for our own sanity. Now, all the work, fun, and traveling has to make way for the main purpose behind why we truly need a 3-day weekend, R&R. Recuperation is really what it's all about, and why we're having a 3-day weekend is important. The purpose of the weekend is to recover from the long work week, and we deserve to do so without having to sacrifice our time to enjoy life and handle our personal business. At minimum, we should have one full day that allows us to rest and relax, that allows us to recover from the work and the weekend obligations. Whether you're a restaurant worker, a high school teacher, or Dracula himself, you deserve a break from the world. You may recoup by reading a book, laying around watching Netflix, or maybe you prefer blah, blah, blah. Whatever your fancy, recuperation is vital to a person's mental and physical health, happiness, and productivity. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, if we go to a 3-day weekend, eventually Thursday will become the new Friday, and I'll be right back here in front of you saying how we need a 4-day weekend. Well, if that proves to be true, I'll gladly take on that effort. So now you should understand why it's imperative to have a 3-day weekend versus a 2, so that we have as much time needed for us to spend on our responsibilities, have a little time for recreation, and a lot of time for recuperation. So let's make it happen.